Hello. I am back, and I hope I will learn how long this delay is. Okay, there we go. It really is longer than I expected to be. All right, so I'm here. I have my cards out. The Wisdom of the Garden Path deck, which is coming available, although I don't have an absolutely set date. I'm thinking soon. Hey, Meg, how are you? Let me know if you'd like me to draw a card for you, and we will see where it takes us. Hello, Robbie. Let me know in the comments. I never draw for anybody else without their specific permission. So when you tell me in the comments that you would like a card, then I will do so. Otherwise, yes, please. Okay. Today it's needed. Okay. All right. I hope there's always wisdom in the cards. I hope your day is moving into a positive vibration. Okay. So this is for Meg. Okay. Not in there. This one. Okay. Were you? I can't remember when I did cards. It wasn't this morning, so it must have been yesterday. You might have seen this card because it came up for a couple of people, actually. It's really hot right now. And I think it speaks to where we are as a people. We're in a place of being like at the center of these clusters of pine needles, right? When we are at the center, you can choose any direction to move in. You have the potential to go to make your forward and your progress to be left or right or up or down or in front or behind. There's no limits to your potential while you're in the center. So getting clear about where you want to go is really very important. The number 19, beautiful number. The one is about that integrated self, that piece of you, the unseeable, untouchable piece of you that was you before you came into the human condition and will be you after you transition back into the non-physical. So that, whatever it is that is Meg, in that is what the one is representing here. 9, because we're always adding up till there's only one digit, 9 contains all of the energies. So it represents the holistic connection. The everything is connected to everything else. Everything has an impact on everything else. Everything matters. We add them up and we get 10. 1 plus 9 is 10, which gives us again the 1 of the self and the 0, which is the unity of all things in the cosmos. And they add up and they come back to 1. So this is all about you as the beginning and ending of what happens in your own experience. It's very powerful, and it isn't necessarily easy. The yellow border tells us that it's in a time of growing. So it isn't that you just can snap your fingers and go, okay, this is how it's going to be, because there are so many options to decide. You need to sit in that center and look in all of the directions and know that you can choose. Excuse me. I spend too much time not talking at all because I am in isolation and I'm not talking to anybody. And then I get on here and suddenly I'm talking for an hour. So my voice box doesn't know quite what's happening. All right. So Robbie has said yes. And then I see Trudy is asking for one. So I'm going to do Robbie first. And then I will do Trudy. Thank you, by the way, for being here. this I don't know who is involved. When I see the names, I don't know who is part of the Darling company hosting whatever. This has been an awesome, awesome weekend, and I am so happy to be a part of it. So if any of you is involved, thank you for that. I'm drawing for Robbie. In here. Just this one. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. It's Pine Day, I guess. Here we have the Mugo pine. I love the fact that these the growths that we get in spring on a Mugo plant pine, it does the spurt like we see in our 10-year-old boys, right? It all of a sudden they need new shoes and new trousers, and pine trees are exactly the same. This spurt comes, and it is called a candle. So in many, many ways, what this card is telling you is that you have the light. You can move forward, and other people will follow because you're lighting the way. So whatever situation you are in, the 2 and the 8 come together into that. I think you were here as I was talking about the 1 and that integrated, authentic identity that is yours. 2 is about community. It's about relationships, and the 8 is about fairness and balance and the flow of divine energy. So as you bring that flow to your community, then you get to stand in yourself in a place of leadership in a balanced way, not in any cruel or dictatorish way. Simply because this is your time to step forward, hold up the light, and show people which way to head, and they will absolutely follow you while you are flowing divine energy. That's what you have come to do in this next while. So cool. Hello, Donna. Thank you for joining us. I'm drawing. Is Trudy next? Is that right? That was Robbie. This is Trudy. Okay, so Donna, if you would like me to draw a card for you, let me know, and I will. I'm glad to have met you this weekend too. I will encourage everybody to go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, so that you know where I am and what I'm doing, and all of those things would be delightful. Okay. Trudy, I would love a drawing. That was the next one I saw. Okay, Robbie, I'm glad that made sense for you. Okay, so this is for Trudy. This is for Trudy. Oh, lovely. This is another one that speaks to the whole community in a lot of ways. This is the rotting grapes, which sounds way more negative than it really is. These grapes they didn't get picked when they were good for eating. They just got left there and started to ferment on the vine. They were sort of puffy with fermentation. There is no going back when you reach that phase. And I think in some ways where we're at with some aspects of our culture and society, we can't go back. It is just too late to go back to the way things were. We have to forge a new way forward. So what happens with these grapes, they're not good for anything except to be allowed to fall and to provide the incredibly fertile, fecund base from which the next crop can grow, right? So this I mean, mush, when they when they fell, they went splat. But that provided an incredibly rich place for the seeds to take root and take nourishment and grow up into a whole new generation. And whether this is societal or whether this is something in your personal life, it may very well be both. There's something where there's just no going back, but the experience and the learning and the knowledge of what went behind has given us a wisdom that will help us to nurture the new future. Like any future could be old. Help us nurture the future in a really rich and informed way. So I hope that makes sense. The 2 is the community. 7 is called the teacher. It is always about learning lessons. It's always about having, it's very often we learn a lesson because we have to climb over a fence, and the fence feels like an obstacle, but we learn how to climb it and we move on, and we get to another new and wonderful place. All right, Trudy, you're saying that is your personal life. That's great. It's great that you recognize it, that the card came for you. And the 2 and the 9 together, or the 2 and the 7 together add up to a 9. Spiritual number, all about holistic interconnection. Nothing exists in a vacuum. Everything is informed by everything around it, including things far away from it. So that's a really nice energy, even though the first impression is that it looks like something rotten. It's not rotten. Part of the cycle. It's all part of the cycle. Absolutely. Donna Lordley, absolutely. I can draw you a card. And I haven't missed anybody. If you're here and I miss you, let me know. But I'm doing my very best to stay on top of the feed. Oh my goodness. I've got cards jumping out. I'm going to, Donna, get close to your keyboard, please, and tell me. Yes, it is hopeful, Trudy. Tell me 1, 2, or 3, because 3 cards jumped out, and I'm going to measure them from left to right, and you can tell me which one's yours, please. I know there's a delay. I'll sit here nagging you, and you've done it already. Or not. Oops. Okay. You have maybe stepped away, or maybe yesterday. Oh, there we go. 2. All right. So the second card that jumped away. Oh, how nice. All right. Anticipation. Anticipation. That moment, being in that moment just before the big jump in growth happens. These leaves are so ready to burst out and be big flat leaves and start photosynthesizing. They're just a breath away from doing it. So there's something in your life that you can be excited that it is coming to pass. Something that you've been working on, you're working towards, and it's almost there. Whatever you do, don't give up. The 2 and the 4. 2 is again community, relationship, that kind of thing. And 4 is a very solid and stable energy. It's the energy on which we build. So the 2 of them together come to a 6, which is the number of service, of meeting your responsibilities, and also of finding beauty. Because when we're in alignment, the things that we feel responsible for are the things we love and we care about and are called to. So there isn't a line between beauty and responsibility. It's just part of the experience of being, which is it feels wonderful to us. It might not feel the same to our the people around us, but when we're in alignment, that's how that goes. So that's lovely. Also, the blue sky, I think, speaks to the blue of the throat chakra. So there's something about communication in there too, as you're laying a foundation and dealing with community. It may be that part of your responsibility in life is to educate people about it, or to let people know about it. I don't know, but something about communication. All right. Does that? Lots of 6 in your. Oh, are you from Nova Scotia? I remember that with the 6s. You're yes. Yes. So interesting. So interesting how that works out. Okay, yeah, the other 2, I don't think those cards were yours at all. So we are good. Moving on. All right. Has anybody new come in? Hello. Let me know. Okay, I remember. I will remind you that. Okay, yes, hey Donna. When you make comments, each comment that you make gets a ballot to go into the grand draw tonight, which I did finally look it up, and it's going to be drawn around about 9 o'clock Eastern, because we are in Ottawa. I think they're certainly in my time zone because the times have worked for me. I'm going to be back on at 5 o'clock. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at that point, but that'll be my last one. This has been a very busy weekend for me. I do have a page here on Facebook. I think if you Facebook search my name, it will give you the page Exploring Paths to Cosmic Wisdom. And on that page, I do live readings like this twice a week. I've committed to doing them during the lock-in. So on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern. Oh, okay. Thank you, Donna. I don't get the eyeball, and I don't understand why, or the eye icon, or however you want to call it. Okay, that's all right, because a lot of people seem to be watching the videos. Thank you, Trudy. Tuesdays at 11 and Fridays at 2, I do a live on that page. I also have a website. Oh, went the wrong way. joleith.com, and there's lots of stuff on there, lots of information about what I do when the world is moving. You can find out where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. Right now everything's online, so it's pretty much all on there anyway. There's also, nearly every page there's a button to hit to subscribe to my newsletter, and even though it is hosted by Constant Contact, I'm not in constant contact. I'm pleased with myself if I get something sent out 3 times a month. Usually it's only twice. But it is a good way to keep track of what's going on. I do write a blog, and the blogs are all there, and they're indexed. The search feature on them is really quite good. There are hundreds and hundreds, going all the way back to 2012. For several years, I did them every week. Now I'm only doing them 3 times a month, but there's a lot of stuff. So if you're interested in learning about my work and what's been going on with my thought processes, I'm sure I'd probably be embarrassed by some of them that were older, but hey, this is life on the internet. It gets kept forever. What else am I here to tell you? On my website, joleith.com, on the readings tab, there's the different readings. I have some specials on right now. During May, as I celebrate 50 years since I arrived in Canada, this Sunday, the 12th, I've got a reading special, 50 minutes for $50. Which is quite a bargain, I would have to say. And I'm still in, do you know we're still in the first 20 weeks of this year? Isn't that amazing? Back in December, I created a special that I said was for the first 20 weeks of 2020. And it's been in fairly high demand, so I may extend that. I think next week is the 20th week. But that is a really extensive numerology chart, charting your birth date and your name, every part of your name. And and you get an electronic copy of a lot of information, which is very cool. And that's 20 different parts of your numerology chart for $220. So that is featured on my page too, on the readings page. And doing the quickies that I used to do as we used to do house parties, girls' night in, and things like that, with cheese and wine in the kitchen and me in the side room, doing little readings, 3-card readings or something like that for each of the participants. And we can do that on Zoom. We can do it on a phone. And what I've done is lifted the minimum, because I used to have a minimum number of people to get me involved. But while we're all at home and a lot of us are alone, that just feels really unkind to tell you there have to be 3 of you, or 5 of you, or whatever it was. So yeah, so that's another option. It's small. Oh, and the cards went to the printer just before we got locked up. I don't have a definite date of when I'm going to have them physically in my hand to sell them and hand them over to you or put them in the mail. But I do have a link on that readings page. If you scroll down, there is a place for you to purchase them ahead of time, and you will, of course, get them as soon as I do. Is that everything? I don't even remember. I have a Donna. Yes, I see your message. You sent me a message about a reading last night. I didn't get finished in here until way past midnight. I fell over and went to sleep. And when I got up, I had to inhale my coffee and I was back on again. I did see that you had sent a message, and I will respond to you, I promise. I just the weekend has been a little bit pressing, but yes, I would love to get together with you. I'm using, because I'm not meeting people, I am using Zoom and Facebook Video Messenger and FaceTime for anybody who wants to do it that way, or we can do it by phone. Either way, we can make it work. All right. So what else can I tell you? What else? Anybody have any particular questions? Trudy said she's gone to check my page. I don't know if she's checking the joleith.com or my other Facebook page, but either way, either one is a route to find me if you want me. On my website, there's a Contact Us tab, and it has an email address. It has the link if you'd like to follow me on Twitter. Haven't talked about that. My handle on there is Journey Align, which, because they wouldn't let me use the whole of the phrase journey into alignment, which is a phrase I use a lot, talking about taking that path, moving into. That's all right. No, don't worry. That's cool. That's good. Thanks. You check it when you're ready. And as I say, that's I have been posting these videos over there. I have no idea whether they will survive after this page goes into archive. There's no I haven't any knowledge. There's nothing in my experience to tell me how that would be. So for a while, at least, I know she just retired the weekend from 2 weeks ago. So it should be at least 2 weeks that these videos are available on there. And as I say, I'm doing lives twice a week, and those do stay around. It's all good. Like and follow it while you're there. Pretty please. Thank you. And that way you'll know when I'm going to be. Although sometimes the algorithm likes to send the notices out just a day later. Just not helpful at all. Ba-dum-dum. I don't know I think that you've heard it all from me. Donna, I don't know what I saw, what I read, and you maybe it was in your message that you sent me that you're in Antigonish, which is very cool. I lived 19 years in Nova Scotia, and I'm a person who moves around all the time, so I'm not sure what that says about Nova Scotia, except I loved being near the sea, and I love the people. I miss the people. I miss the ocean, I have to say. I've never been quite so far away from the ocean as you get in Ontario, but that's all right. It's all good. And let me think. That's numbers. That's this is session 7 in 2 days. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. I love it. And I'm starting to get a little bit brain foggy because I'm not used to doing this. Okay, Kathy. Anne-Marie was wanting a reading. I will trust you that you're allowed to tell me that. You grew up in the Valley? Whereabouts, Donna? I think I told you yesterday I was in Melbourne Square, in between Kingston and Middleton. It's a great place to be. That's true. The Saint Laurent. Yeah, it isn't the same, but it is. Yeah, moving water. Even the Gatineau River. I lived for 5 years up in Wakefield, Quebec, and we had the river, and it is lovely. I do love the water. Something about big ocean really is. Okay, who is this for? This is for Anne-Marie. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is so interesting. This card is hot. We've had this already today. So you can certainly send Anne-Marie to watch the video and see what I said about it. You told me Greenwood. I knew that. These growth spurts that are called candles. This is someone who is called to lead, often through example, often through holding up the light, being the light, illuminating what is going on for the people who are in search of a leader. It doesn't mean you have to run for office. It means that the people around you look to you to see the direction that things are moving. So being very mindful of your relationship with that movement and choosing where you're going to go. 2 is the community that you are an important part of. 8 is that lovely flow of divine energy that is just and fair and kind and balanced. And when you allow that energy to flow through you and you bring that to your community, then we add up to 10, which is valued at the 1, which is that place within you that is Anne-Marie, that will always be Anne-Marie, whether or not you're having a human experience. You were Anne-Marie before, or you were that before. The label of Anne-Marie helps to keep you on your path to accomplish the things that you came to do. So very, very cool, very nice, and I'm fascinated that that's come up twice in half an hour. These are the people who are here today, I guess. Hello, Laurie. You are here again. You have been a faithful attendee. I think out of the 7 sessions, you must have been at 4 of them at least. So cool. Let me know if you'd like me to draw a card for you, Laurie. And we will see where that takes us. All right. Anybody else who has come in, please let me know in the comments, because I don't get a the old version used to pop up a thing and say, you know, Laurie has joined, things like that, and I don't get that anymore. I don't know, they've improved it, I guess. Okay, I got a yes please from Laurie, so I'm looking for a card for Laurie. Ooh, Laurie, this is nice, and this is it's something I haven't seen this weekend at all. This is the Passion card, and it's a wild plant called cat's ear, and it is in full fruit. That they're not dandelions. They're very similar to dandelions, but they're much smaller. And the fruit is very, very, yeah. Ooh, that's right. Ooh, this passion, because those fruit heads, when they get properly ripe, are going to burst forth into the world and travel all over the place and carry the seeds of their existence, going to go far and wide, and they're in that state of sort of gathering their strength, ready to go out into the world. So gathering passion, deciding what it is, where do I want to go, what do I want to be, all of that finding, not settling. I think if you've been doing any settling in your life, and I think you possibly have, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Not the compromise, not the making life easy for other people, but connecting with the things that really, really excite us, right? 3 is the number of inspiration. 3 is the place where stuff that exists in the cosmos comes through a human and into the physical world. So whether that is writing poetry, painting things, inventing new algorithms, figuring out mathematical formulas that nobody's been able to figure out, unseen things that exist somewhere, and they come through you in times of inspired thought and sometimes dreams, and you get to be the hollow reed that brings things into the world, which is very nice. You've got 2 of those, so we double that up, and when we add it, we get the 6, which is service, because whatever it is that you bring is going to serve the community. It will serve you, it will serve your intended path, and the world around you will be improved by that. One of the wonderful things about 6, depending where it shows up, and Donna's got a whole lot of them, people with really, really dominant 6s, it is part of their drive that they are going to leave the world in a better condition than they found it. So bringing your passion and just living your passion is going to set an example and show people how wonderful life can be. And that's really good. We're into the orange color for fruiting. There is stuff that has happened before. The shoots went into the soil, the leaves came up, the flower came up, pollination happened, a whole lot of stuff that culminates in that fruit. So it isn't, the past doesn't come forward with you, but you wouldn't be here now if not for that past. I hope that makes sense. All right, lovely card. Thank you, Laurie. Your yes, that is the idea. It's a good idea, and it's yours. Fabulous. I love it. Okay. Anybody else? Did Anne-Marie get her message, and did it make sense to her? I hope so. And yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. I'm trying to think what I'm going to talk about because if you have questions, please ask them. I will do my best. If I don't know, I will say so. I. Labyrinths, we're coming up. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Anne-Marie. I'm so glad you're here. I had an Anne-Marie yesterday with somebody else's account name on it, so I think that must be the one. Bum. What am I? Labyrinths. I am a certified labyrinth facilitator, which probably sounds much more complex than it really is, but it's quite wonderful. I love labyrinths. A labyrinth is not a maze. A maze requires that you engage your I figured that, Kathy. When you're in a maze, you have to make decisions. You have to strategize because there are dead ends, and you have to remember, oh, I mustn't turn left because I can't get through, whatever. So it's a very mental activity, and all about strategy and memory. Whereas a labyrinth, there's only one path. Only one path. This I don't know if you can even see, but and my fingers don't work with this camera. So yeah, you go in, you go all the way around. There's a requirement where the number 7 is there that you turn and you go back the other way, bringing you closer to the center each time. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different designs for labyrinths, none of which is close to me for me to share. Oh, maybe. It is a tool for meditation because you don't have to think about where you're going. You just follow the lines and there we go. I've got some small things to share. These can be, of course, laid with paving stone and all sorts of things. So this is a 7-circuit classic like that. All right, Kathy. What readings do you need to do? Financial prediction. I would probably go with a card reading and ask really specific questions and not only use this deck. I have several different decks. I don't have anything that calls itself the money deck, but I have Carolyn Mace's energy cards, and I have Tony Christie's Labyrinth. What's it called? The something about the labyrinth, and they're beautiful. He did the paintings. I took these photos and they're good, but he did amazing, a whole deck of gorgeous oil paintings for his labyrinth deck. And it has money cards, it has prosperity cards, it has cards that can move you towards, if you're doing a card reading with a very specific aim like that you're asking the question and you're always looking at how any individual card in the spread answers that question and how it relates to the cards around it. You can do that for any topic, but that's what I would do for a money reading. Okay, this is laid into the tile floor in the cathedral at Amiens in France. There was a big labyrinth building boom back in the 1200s. The most famous labyrinth probably is this one, which is in the cathedral at Chartres, which is about 80 miles or 80 kilometers north of Paris. And this is a particularly wonderful one because it is full of feminine energy. The cathedral there was built on the site of a chapel where supposedly their holy relic was an undergarment that had belonged to the Virgin Mary. I'm trying to think what it was called. What do we call? We call it a camisole. It's a word like that. Oh dear, it'll come back to me. Um, the the rose in the center, of course, the rose is one of the. Gosh, I'm really, really dyslexic about this camera. Um, the rose as a symbol for the Virgin Mary is a beautiful thing, and as you can see, the path into it is only half as wide as the petals. So 6 petals and a half means that when you're laying it out, you have to create a 13 pointed star. So there's 2 each for the 6 petals and then 1 for the path. And 13 is the number of moons in a year. And we connect that with the feminine cycle of moon time. So very, very feminine energy there. The outside edge, these lunations, there are what's 13? 13 is a quarter of 52, yes. So it must be 13 in the floor, maybe not on this one, but in the floor at the cathedral. There are 13 in each quarter, so that telling time by the seasons was simplified and codified for people who didn't have a particular education. They could count off these lunations and know when it was time to plant the crop and when it was time to harvest the crop and that kind of thing. So very much hands into Mother Earth sort of energy with that. And then these turnarounds that are representative of the blades of the double-headed axe that's called the labyrinth, which evidently the gods of the original labyrinth had it was named for the gods with their double-headed axes, and that is a symbol that has been taken over by a lot of different parts of the women's movement as a sort of cutting through the patriarchy kind of a symbol. So that's cool. I think there's just a whole lot of stuff. Yes. So why are we talking about labyrinths? Because when we're on one of those paths, we don't have to think about where we're going because there's no dead ends. It's going to take us to the center. So we can disengage all the chatter and the thinking and just follow the path and see what happens. We often call it a moving meditation. A lot of people, and especially young people, are not interested in sitting on a cushion and spreading their knees and calling themselves a lotus. Just that is not for them. Whereas a walking meditation where they're moving and they're in the flow and they're feeling themselves as physically active sounds like gymnastics, and I don't mean that, but where they're embodying themselves in the physical and moving around and moving backwards and forwards. The experience with a labyrinth is that it takes you towards the center and you think you're almost done, and then it takes you back another way, which is exactly what happens in life. We think we're headed in a certain direction, and then somebody moves or somebody dies or somebody invents or invents a system of isolating to keep people safe from a virulent disease. Nobody was expecting that. Our paths all have taken a turn and we don't know what's going to come next. So it's very everything about labyrinths is can be applied to metaphors of life. It's a wonderful symbol and a wonderful thing, and walking an outdoor one and walking indoor one too. It's very easy to make a path with ropes or with something that's easy to just put up a temporary one. A lot of people this last little while, because the first Saturday of May is World Labyrinth Day. Most of us were online doing that. But people who could went out and even if they just made a small one in chalk on their driveway, they were able to do that. And the energy is so the veil is thin. There's a once you step onto a labyrinth, the energy is very different. Lauren Artros, who wrote some of the best books about labyrinths. I didn't have them ready because I didn't know I was going to talk about this. Now, she is out of San Francisco, and she's some sort of a cleric at the cathedral. I have no idea what. But she, at one time, they have several labyrinths there, one indoors, one outdoors, portables that they take around. And the university there did a thing where they rigged her up with an electrode helmet, and she walked the labyrinth, and somebody followed her behind with the trolley with all the equipment on that her electrodes were connected to. So she didn't have to think about that. She just did what she always does and walks the labyrinth. And they analyzed the brain waves and saw the change that happens in the brain, the theta waves that kicked in when she was very early in her walk, because the energy is different and our brains respond to that. They absolutely do. So I find that fascinating. The other thing around the energy there, I did an event a few years ago now, and that's what you need or not. Oh, okay. I did an event. It was a drop-in. People could come and go and do what they wanted and walk out. I had a 7th Circuit Cretan there, and a young mum came with her little sort of toddler preschooler and a newborn, and she sat down and she needed to feed the baby. It was time, so she fed the baby, and the baby she then held and I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but they went to sleep in their mother's embrace afterwards, you know, milk drunk, right? Just gone. And the older brother, it was a little boy, was hopping about on the labyrinth, and his mom started off trying to stop him from doing that, and you know, don't do that. And he wasn't getting in anybody's way. So I said, it's fine. They told me in my training that children are energized by labyrinths, and where adults sort of drop into a meditative, quieter space, children are energized. And so the fact that this child was jumping and hopping around just sort of confirmed what they had told me. So as soon as the little one was fast asleep, Mum got up. She was going to walk the labyrinth, and she went. Well, I don't know if I've got a 7th Circuit here to show you how far she got. No, that doesn't work. Anyway, she walked not 10 feet when this fast asleep infant perked up, and the eyes opened, and was really new. I think 3 weeks old, so almost like a kitten, sort of, you know, staring around and not necessarily focusing on anything, but wide awake and very alert, and not a peep, just watching the world. And she walked the whole thing. The baby stayed awake the whole time. And when she had finished and she came to sit down and record in the journal that was there, she sat, baby's still in the same position, hasn't moved. As soon as she sat down, boom, fast asleep again. So if ever I had wanted confirmation of the energizing nature for children, I got it right there. It was really a magical time, I thought. I have no idea who that woman was. I lived in that town for a long time, and if I ever saw her again, I didn't know it was her. But I'm bad with faces. Be warned. Okay, questions. Okay, Tracy, did you see my answer to Kathy? Do you know how I responded, so you can follow up or not? This is cool too. I do, when I'm working on a particular topic like that, I usually do either a 7 or a 9 card spread, so that there's lots of information. And what tends to happen is that the cards then validate each other and really let you know what it is that they're trying to tell you. So if there's a card that doesn't quite make sense, if something comes up and you go, I don't know if that, it could be this, could be that, then you turn the next one and you go, oh, okay, that's what it's trying to say. So that's rather lovely. It's hard to do specific problems with only one or two cards. So seven, or most often a 9. I like a 9-card spread. So that's how that goes. Is anybody else here? Are there any other questions? Are there? Does anybody have requests for what you'd like me to do at 5 o'clock? Because I really don't have an agenda. I've been letting this happen fairly organically. And I would love to do what you would like me to do, if that makes any sense. I'm just going to go. I didn't think to post on my other page. Okay, it's saying I've got, oh, that's an old one. All right. It's not showing me who is here. It's not there's no way for me to access. Oh, there we go. Okay, is that's this? Yes. So it says there are 4 eyeballs here. Okay. Is that true? Can I do numerology again? Absolutely, Kathy. What was there something? We've still got 8 minutes now. If there's something you'd like me to do, but if you want to come back at 5 and we'll do the number grids again or something like that, I would love that. Yes. Tell me if you can. You see 5. Okay. Well, what can we say? Software. Mine doesn't seem to want to work with me. There we go. Yeah, Kathy, what are you looking for in the numerology? Because it can go in so many different directions, and I am happy to do what you want me to do. And chances are, if I choose, it won't be what you wanted. So if you can tell me, or at least narrow me down a bit, I would. I'm really quite cooperative. When it comes to numerology, I get really, really excited. Oh, okay. I think you did that before, and I did get it, and then I didn't use it because I had other people offering theirs. So, and in truth, there were a number of other people who gave me dates to use. And oh, okay, maybe it wasn't you. Yes, it was. Okay. Yes. If I put it in the grid and I put it on screen, it will be, and especially now that we've told the world that you're sending it to me. I don't know that I'm comfortable, because if you want it kept private, then that's really not private. Let me see what I can do without. Okay, you certainly have karmic stuff going on. You have 1110953. Okay, so you've got the 159 line that we've seen a lot of, even among younger people. We've been seeing people born in May. We're seeing people who born on the 5th or the 15th, and they've got that 5. I've lost my screen there. Okay. So that 159 line is the line of determination that helps us both with somehow knowing as young people that we don't want to follow in the 40-year career, stay with the same company, get a gold watch and a kiss goodbye at the end. We knew we didn't want that when we were young. And where our parent generation accused us of drifting, we spent time looking and comparing and trying different careers and different fields and different roles and different topics in education. And hopefully by the time we got fully into full adulting, we had found something that sparked us, something. If we had the 6, it was something that we believed was going to make the world a better place, right? If when I found numerology and when I saw how recognizing that there is a structure and intention underneath the things that happen to us can be such a comfort and so uplifting, and seeing where talents lie in our own lives, and when I can share that with someone who thought they were, it's that whole, the fish thinks it's stupid because it can't climb a tree. And if the fish is spending its whole time trying to climb a tree, it's a very unhappy creature. And I find with numerology, sometimes I get to move the fish back to the river, and that is such a wonderful thing for me to change the world for that one person. I absolutely love it. And why am I telling you this? Because when you find what it is you're supposed to do, you'll be willing to do 8 sessions in 2 days online with very short sleep in between the 5th and the 6th. Yeah, and it's what we do. When we find what we want to do, we will do it. Nobody can stop us. You have, I think you've been here when I've been talking about people with the fragmented sense of themselves coming in November and getting those 2 1s, as well as the one from the millennium previously. It happens. You have a total of 3 of those, and as it meant that, when you landed in your house, people did not go, oh, Kathy's here, let's arrange life so that she can have the best possible experience of being an infant and a child and grow into her fullest self. That'd be lovely if we said that. Nobody did. They said, put her over there, I'll get her to her later. And you learned to give back what they were reflecting to you. So if somebody thought that you were a good and quiet little girl, when they were around, you'd go sit in the corner and read your book and just be a good and quiet little girl. And if you were being looked after by someone with a different mindset, and they figured you should be outside and running and jumping and carrying on being really physical, then when they were around, you did that. And what happens then is when you get into your mid-20s, you don't know, am I a sitting in the corner bookworm? Am I an active person? Who am I? And the fact is you are both, because those were both you. The fact is also, if you really, really hate running and jumping, it's okay to stop now, right? You're all grown up. You don't have to do what Auntie Ethel wanted you to do or whatever. But that leaves you in your 20s without a fully coherent understanding of who you are as a person. And that is such a gift. It's a sign of an advanced soul that you've come back, that this is part of your work. This is your quest to look around, walk around, learn around, be around, and figure out what else would come into the center of Kathy to make it more complete and to join up all the bits. Does that make sense? So as an adult, I hope you've had a chance to explore and expand your experience and to be in areas that nobody told you about when you were in high school careers. I remember when I learned that there is a job for people who are fully Canadian bilingual with French and English, and have qualifications in nutrition, there's a whole career you can have writing the copy for the back of cornflakes boxes and similar things, right? They didn't tell me that in careers class or in guidance or in whatever. There are things that we just didn't hear about until we were adult. And doing the work of finding them is part of your life path. And that's a really cool thing. You've also got a 3 concealed in there, which is the point of inspiration. That's where things come through, unseen things come through you and into the world. And I think you've been here all day today, I think. So whether that is about music or poetry or a new way. This would be the time, if you're inclined to design a classroom where nobody's closer than 6 feet from anybody else. The conceptual thinking that is going to be required as we sort these things out. If you can do that and that can come through you, talk about make the world a better place. Wonderful creative thing. That and whether it's that or it's something else, there's stuff that comes through you that really improves all of our experience. And then you have 2 in the top left corner, so because the 159, a little bit of, I'm going to call it insecurity sometimes, a little bit of holding back and not and again, depending on your age, this can be something that you've worked through in the course of your adult life, but your early set position was to just censor yourself a little bit and not put yourself into the limelight right away. You kept things at a distance, and you didn't necessarily own your own responses to things. You took yourself back to the corner and licked your wounds a wee bit. We've gone past 2 o'clock. I hope I have answered your questions. I hope that is helpful to you in some way. And I have to get off so that 2 o'clock can get on. I really appreciate everybody who has been here, and anybody who's watching the video, thank you. And I will be back at 5 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.